E aí, pessoal, tudo bem? Como é que vocês estão? Bem, como a maioria de vocês deve saber, o Sonic Frontiers vai lançar amanhã, no dia 8 de novembro. E hoje, dia 7, já saiu a avaliação já da IGN e provavelmente de outras mídias por aí na internet. E muitos de vocês sabem que a IGN não tem um ótimo histórico quando o assunto é Sonic, né? Pois é. Mas vamos ver agora se esse histórico acabou de vez. Eu espero. Em 3, 2, 1.
Sonic Frontiers doesn't limit you to a small, carefully curated menu of things to try. Instead,
Certo.
it takes the all-you-can-eat buffet approach, throwing new ideas at you from
Olha, tem
start to
pinball.
finish, without really seeming to care if they're fresh and appetizing or looking wilted and limp under the heat lamp. When I jumped off the starting line of this sprint across Sonic's first open-world game, I certainly didn't expect to play jump rope, duke it out with a giant robot,
Cara,
watch a dramatic origin story for an extinct race of beings, or do you know how to
É o Big, velho.
I'll teach you if you want. But Frontiers kept me guessing, even late into the campaign, with what it would try next. Even when some of those ideas didn't work, I was almost always glad that Sega gave it the old college try. And as a result, I rarely found myself bored. I did find myself feeling blue because of the absurd amount of pop-in that happens every time this famously fast character does his thing. But Sonic Frontiers is, for the most part, a promising first attempt at blazing a new trail for the series.
Tá. Acho que ele avaliou bem. Vamos ver o resto. Pena que não é o mesmo cara que fez as outras avaliações.
Frontiers' chain of 5 Starfall Islands during its roughly 20-hour campaign, you'll
20
uncover the
horas.
dark and extremely predictable backstory of a long-extinct race while hanging out with Sonic family favorites like Amy and Knuckles. You'll also meet this strange new enemy named Sage, and learn what her deal is in the most agonizingly slow way possible.
You leave immediately.
Since her main
Eita.
hobbies appear to be dodging pointed questions and speaking exclusively in vagaries.
If we are fortunate, it will destroy you.
With all of the different plot threads Frontiers juggles, they do end up feeling oddly disconnected from each other, and none of them offer a ton of surprises between their ungodly number of cliches concerning the
Ixi.
power, friendship, and ancient civilizations wielding advanced technology.
I got a sense of completion, comfort.
Weird.
But they do leave room for some really good moments between the furry cast of characters.
Tá
Never
bom.
a dull moment with you.
Tá.
In fact, Frontiers produces some of the most in-depth characterizations of the Sonic cast we've ever seen in a game. One part of the campaign hones in on the brotherly rivalry between Sonic and Knuckles, while another
Cara, diz que a avaliação dos personagens tá muito boa.
as more than just Sonic's
Se interage
sibling.
bem.
All of that more than sated my ravenous appetite for Sonic's usual anime-style nonsense.
It's strange, but feels
Estilo de anime sem sentido.
Between
Como
all
assim?
of the fancy robot kicking and rolling around at the speed of sound.
Tá. Velocidade de combate, eu acho.
Sprawling open world areas is, as you'd hope, one of the best parts of this odyssey. The islands you dash about on are suitably large.
É, a parte do open world definitivamente é a melhor, né? Tanto que foi a mais
As long as you
focada.
don't fall into water or lava that immediately kills you. My
Nossa.
personal favorite new trick, though, is the Psy Loop. It lets you
É,
draw
o
a
Psy Loop.
circle while blazing a trail to create a tornado of death that impacts everything caught within it. This ability can be used and abused to do damage in combat, solve puzzles, and even farm rings since it generates a few every time.
Certo.
Plus, literally running in circles around your enemies is just an incredibly Sonic thing to do, which is why I practically never stopped doing it throughout my playthrough.
Essa é divertida, velho.
What
Muito.
becomes clear after a few laps around the first island is that Sonic Frontiers is an action-adventure game that joins a growing pack of old-school series looking to reimagine themselves as open-world sandboxes. And in this particular case, it mostly works out.
Que bom, né?
Just like Pokemon Legends Arceus and Metal Gear Solid 5 The Phantom Pain before it, Frontiers keeps a lot of what makes the Sonic series beloved and unique, including some fun homages, but also throws in big areas to explore and fills them with a wild assortment of side distractions and mostly interesting new ideas. Not all of those activities are created equal, but it works overall just because of the sheer variety. One moment you're juggling robots like you're playing Baby's First Devil May Cry, the next you're trying to beat a time trial in a 2D platforming stage. And a minute after that, you're playing a game of pinball inside of an active volcano. You'll grind truly epic rails, solve extremely simple puzzles, do some puzzle platforming, and of course, catch fish.
Por que não, né?
If you can't fish, does it even count as an open world game?
Ai. É big, né, velho?
There were moments where I saw glimpses of genius in this bizarre hodgepodge of activities. Sections called cyberspace levels smartly break up the open world by teleporting you into bite-sized, traditionally linear Sonic levels, where you're racing the clock and collecting rings as you mad dash for the goal line. On the other hand, one of the big things Frontiers tries that doesn't work well is combat. You're just mashing buttons to pull off simple combos and knock the snot out of faceless robotic enemies.
Tá bom.
I appreciated the occasional break from platforming, but since it never proves to be a challenge and throws you into almost identical fights again and again, I soon came to resent being yanked out of my lightning speed racing just to smack down another bunch of dumb toaster-looking fools.
Eita.
It's especially annoying when it comes to the mini-bosses roaming the open world, who often dragged me into unskippable fight sequences that weren't particularly challenging.
Realmente tem alguns bosses que são um pouco irritantes.
Island, which I will not spoil here, are far more exciting. There are other things Frontiers has you do, like solving very easy puzzles that range from mildly amusing mini-games to completely brain-dead chores, or dipping your toes into RPG mechanics by gathering collectibles to raise your stats. These aren't terrible additions, but they also don't feel like they're entirely fleshed out. The upgrades in particular are a bit odd since they do things like let you carry more rings or increase your attack and defense stats by such minor amounts that they barely have an impact on gameplay. It's almost like the developer shrugged and said, sure, why not? And threw every idea they could come up with into the mix just for the heck of it. The biggest shortcoming with this new open world design, though, has nothing to do with the buffet of mostly amusing activities. It's simply that Frontiers is not at all able to keep up with Sonic's godlike speed on a technical level.
Essa Sonic pode ser rápido demais.
Broken about every 5 seconds when large objects popped into view right in front of me.
Nossa.
Granted, that's sometimes hilarious, but it's always jarring and just plain ugly.
O popinho. Não tem como evitar o popinho, mano. Isso geralmente tem bastante jogo.
But sometimes it's entire areas of the world. For all of its amazing quick loading capabilities, the PS5 just couldn't seem to handle how hilariously fast Frontiers let me go. Whether I was playing in the 4K resolution mode at 30 FPS, or the much more desirable 60 FPS mode, seriously, what are we even doing here playing a game this fast at any less? The pop-in was always a common issue.
Help me find the Chaos Emerald so I can beat up some big robots. You'll be free and back to guarding the Master Emerald in no time. Sounds like a plan.
Sonic Frontiers is a delightfully weird and experimental evolution of the Sonic games so many of us grew up with. Its expansive islands are filled with so much variety and pieces of Sonic history, from classic platforming stages to silly mini-games, that they're enjoyable to explore even when awful graphical pop-in is a constant hedgehog.
Parece que o popinho é tipo o alvo da crítica, pelo que parece.
Levels within its open worlds are fantastic ways to pack as
Eu
much
entendo.
Sonic goodness as possible into one package, while others, especially combat, are uninteresting experiments gone wrong. Still, I largely enjoyed my time running around in Frontiers,
Certo.
making it feel like a
7.
promising first attempt at what could be a bright.
Achava que seria um pouquinho maior, mas tá bom, né?
For more,
Pelo menos é uma
check out
nota
our
boa.
reviews of God of War Ragnarok or Bayonetta 3, and for everything else, stick with IGN.
Ah, beleza, né, velho? Pelo menos foi uma nota boa. Deixa eu dar uma olhada no Metacritic agora, quanto que eles deram de nota. 74. Ah, nada mal, velho. Eu jurava que eles iam dar uma nota um pouco mais maior, mas isso já tá de bom tamanho já. Mas enfim, o jogo já tá chegando amanhã. Espero que seja bom. Eu não vi ele inteiro ainda. Eu tô vendo qualquer gameplay que eles postam aí no YouTube. Mas é isso. Até lá eu vou dar uma checada no jogo, ver ele todo completo. Quem sabe até onde eu jogar, né? Mas enfim. Eu fiquei feliz que a agenda não foi tão péssima assim com as avaliações. E o Metacritic também, deu uma nota até um pouquinho maior. Mas é isso. Esse foi o vídeo. Espero que todos tenham um ótimo dia, uma ótima tarde e uma ótima noite. Enfim, eu vou indo nessa e falou!